How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Marcus Howell with us, and he's a hedge fund manager and trading psychology expert who has helped people make smarter, faster, and emotionally resilient decisions in high stakes markets. As the founder of Pocket Holdings, Marcus developed and executed precision options futures strategies designed to outperform even in volatile conditions. So he has also coached hundreds of trades through the mental game of elite investing, blending data discipline and behavioral insight. So Marcus, tell us, what are the 5 steps that an entrepreneur, a trader, needs to take in order to achieve the first million? I think that would be more helpful.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
I want to start by first saying thank you so much, Harry, for giving me the opportunity to be on your platform to share my knowledge with aspiring entrepreneurs or existing entrepreneurs really trying to get to their first million and really to be able to achieve success in business. If I had to break down what would be my 5 keys to getting your first million, these will be practical things that really be beneficial for entrepreneurs if they really apply them. They won't be the normal things that I found to be incredibly important, not just in my own business, but in the business of many other people who I've worked with. So the number one thing that I would say as step one is to find a problem worth solving. Most people think of business as and they want to offer or what they could do in order or service that they can be in order to be able to make a large amount of money. While money is usually the result of what you do, it's the thing that leads to a successful business. The most successful businesses in the world's biggest problems. So you have to figure out what is that problem that is big enough, but then resonates with you. So most of the successful entrepreneurs that I know are solving things that are used in their own life, and they've been able to scale it to be able to help other people. So if I want to say start with finding that problem that's big enough that you would actually want to be able to provide a definitive solution for it. Then once you have that big problem, the important thing that you need to do is to know your audience. So if you're having that problem, or if you have the problem, you're not the only one that has that problem as well. So what are those beliefs, actions, patterns of behavior that are truly keeping your ideal customer up at night? Now, it used to be prior to maybe 2 or so years ago that we would have to go and hire a big agency to market research, or you had to have existing customers to do it. But now there are so many services now that you can go ahead and have your market research essentially be outsourced with intelligence or other agencies that have this information. So a quick Google search or a quick to ask what are some of the best services to help me to do customer research, you'll be able to 10 different sources that can really help you to do this in a very cool and definitive way. So the idea is 3 to 6 months now to come up with who our ideal customer would be for the problem we're trying to solve. And I'm really excited about that. So in understanding what problem you're solving, you got to understand who you're. And then the third one that I would say is probably the most important one and would be the biggest departure from what think is to build something that is called a Dream 100. So this isn't from me. The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, God rest his soul, was probably one of the best salesmen that we lifetime, up there with Charlie Munger. He was actually a disciple of Charlie Munger. And so this dream concept is basically this. You have a problem, you know who your audience is. If there were 100 dream partners that you can work with, whether they're individuals, what could you do to do everything necessary to develop a partnership with them, or if you even got just one of those partnerships, it will bring you all the time. Most entrepreneurs, especially when they're starting, they have a bottom-up approach. Let me get my money for ads, or let me do social media, or let me do something else. But there's companies that exist that are truly serving your exact audience. It's so much easier to partner with them on a either a co-branding basis, a joint venture type basis, or something like that to be able to get customers at once, than to try and do it from a bottom up where you're trying to get 10,000, 100,000, or a million. And so in the first 6 months of every business that I start, we typically spend 6 months in terms of sales and marketing going after our dream 100 partners versus trying to market. Now, that's a little bit easier because if you're doing like cold email, to do it via B2B, if you are looking to get thousands of customers at once, it's easy going to people that are used to having these relationships. And it's as easy as going on LinkedIn and looking for a chief marketer, director of sales, or something like that to be able to have those conversations. Again, you typically don't need 100 of those. You just need to go after all 100 people. And when you do that, if you get the 1 or 2 or 3, it's usually going to be the head start that you need to truly have a successful and sustainable business over the long term. So building your dream 100 is step 3 that I would say. Just 2 more here. Number 4, launch, then iterate. The number 3, a lot of entrepreneurs have, usually it's the message to market matches the number 1, but the number 2 or 3 thing would be take too long to launch. It's okay to have an imperfect product. It's not a wait until you're basically out of money to then launch something that you haven't had an opportunity for them to look at to evaluate whether or not they like it or whether or not you need to pivot. So even completely proud of that product in the beginning, launch it, because that's going to be the feedback that you're going to need in order to move faster. So launch and then systematically improve as you continue to go. Lead to my 5th one, which is once you have something launched, you have to relentlessly, meaning be quick to launch, but be very strategic about as you're going through this, improving your product, that you're looking at what's not working and you're spending most of your time improving that as quickly. So if I were to go back to my 5 steps of what has helped me to launch so many successful businesses: 1, find a big problem worth solving. 2, know who your audience is by having the proper research. Build that dream 100 list of partners. If you only got 2 or 3 of them, that would be all you need to sustain. I've relentlessly optimized everything that you're doing so that you can really have a successful business.
Because that's fantastic. And democratizing Wall Street, so bringing Wall Street to the masses, the people, have been a huge dilemma, because when you meet out there in the street and you ask them how you doing with trading, you see that people lose a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, somebody else is winning, so how you or what formula to bring Wall Street or the trading to the masses, to the people? I think that trading is key. It's like driving. The more you practice, the better you become. And I think the people that lose money, large amounts, is, I think the research, they haven't developed a skill, and they go to play the game following the rules, and that's how they get hit. On the other hand, you successfully has accomplished a great success. Can you tell us, is it really possible to win in this trading business without being a professional trader, just by learning? Or only you guys, professional traders, make the money, and the rest people that they're gonna learn, they never get. You need to have ground, and you have to be trading as professional in order to make money doing this.
That's a really important, and I appreciate you asking. And I'll try to be, it's not a short answer, but I'll try to shorten it as best as I can so that it's valuable to the listening. So the first thing that I would say, and this is just to be completely honest, is that not for everyone. And so you have to understand that 90% of people lose 90% of their money because it is any other. It is the same as if you were become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. You can't just pick it up off the street and think that you're doing it, essentially. And so the first thing that I would say is that the time to understand and develop the skill, and typically you want to do that without risking your own money in the first. I haven't always just been a professional trader. I was a retail trader, meaning I traded for myself and was able to become successful enough to develop my own firm. But before I even any real money, I traded for almost a year and a half with paper money, just understanding what in order to be successful before I put 10,000 of my own money in. And ultimately that ended up becoming what I am. So the first I would say is it's not for everyone. So
Marco, let's stop there. Let's stop there because this that you just showed me is very impressive. How you have this hey, this is a skill that I'm developing. The more I practice, the better I become. And there is no way that I'm gonna put real money there if I haven't developed the skill. I think this is one of the wisest things that I ever heard in terms of trading. So I applaud you for that. And it's like riding a bicycle, right? If you, I'm not sure that you can ride the bicycle by yourself. You cannot go to the park because you're gonna fall. What happens, Marcos, is that people, especially commodities, very volatile, and maybe you few clicks, you kind of get lucky, and if you do a few clicks and you get lucky, very quickly you can even you can even money in 2 days. If now this is one thing is that somebody is doing it one time, but it's consistently, right? You achieving these results. What it gives you an indicator is that you already developed the skill. And the other thing, Marcus, I'm glad that you said a year and a half because everybody you hear in the internet, they said, no, 1 month, it will take 1 month, it will take 2 months. You're gonna make so much money in this strategy, so it's in 3 months. In my opinion, to 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 get it accurate, it requires a lot of training. So where do you find the strength to keep practicing with paper money? And do you thought that, okay, you know what, I'm gonna give up, I'm doing this for a year and this is not working for me and I'm just gonna let it go, will work for me, so I have to move on. So where do you find the consistency, the strength, the belief that no matter how, even if it's gonna take you 1 year, if it's gonna take you a year and a half, it's gonna take you 2 years, you're gonna make that work because you knew that there are there that go out, because I know these people. There are people out there that go out every single day and they make money trading. Some of them have been in this podcast in previous years. So we know for the fact that of people like you that we know that they go out every single day and they make good money out of this. So clearly they know something. Clearly they have a skill that the rest of the people out there don't have. So tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly of this process. Do you ever think to surrender, to give up, to say, well, this is actually not possible? Some people are here, but then when I'm practicing with paper money already a year, and this thing is not working, everything is a lie, it's never worked for me. So where do you find the strength to continue? And how do you feel when you actually make it work after a year and a half? You say, wow, I can't believe that I'm making money. Well, I won't say every single day, I don't know, but at least I think good rate would be if you lose 2 times and 8 times you end up profitable, would be with good performance, or how you rate success?
Sure. Yeah. So there's a lot there. I'll start at the beginning. What kind of gave me the motivation to want to continue to do this for the long term? So in that year that I was trading for money, I had taken an account that had about $50,000, turned it into about 1.5 to 1.8 million. So for me, I was able to see that period of time and to see what was working and what wasn't working. And so the encouragement to try at least to earn money. And then when I $1,000 of my own money in there, I was able to grow that account. It wasn't a year, but it was about over 100,000. So for me to 10x my money was like, okay, well, this is something for me to do. I didn't believe that
10x the money. Wow, in a year.
Yeah, thank you. So for me, it wasn't. I appreciate it for sure. So much. Could I do this? Because I was getting signals from my own behavior and from my own trading that this was something that was possible. But as you are also saying, it wasn't easy. It was a shrine to success. There were a lot of things and hurdles that I had to deal with, including understanding and like changing my own beliefs about money or what I thought was possible, or being astute enough that as I was trading, that my dopamine system was being hijacked with the risk reward, which could have allowed me to be able to over leverage or treat this like gambling as it like something that could be sustainable business. And so thankfully for me, I learned early on in the process that trading, just like anything else, is about, so it's not about you being, so there's there's many types of traders, two main buckets to help this make sense. There are discretionary traders, which mean normal folks, they would maybe do a little bit of pre-market analysis, but then they're going and they're the ones that are clicking the button. They're taking trades at their own discretion. And then there are systems traders, meaning they aren't controlling what trades they're taking. They have a built-in set of parameters, and once all of those parameters reach, then a trade is going to be taken. It is independent of how they feel on that day. Ego is independent of how tired they are. And so for me, I quickly learned that as a discretion, it's so simple for you to lose money because you're going to be hijacked by your dopamine system, as opposed to if you had another system that didn't sleep, didn't care about how much money I needed, really just looking for, here are the 5 things that I'm looking for. When all of those 5 things are lined up, you trade, that it did that. The other thing that really helped me over time was risk management. This is what most traders don't talk about, especially the ones that don't make any money because they don't understand this. It's always important that I risk a small to moderate amount to make a moderate versus trying to risk a large amount to make an even larger amount. So for me, my always been never make a decision today that will lead to me not being able to trade. So I've always got systems in place to make sure that I have a loss limit. This is the maximum amount of money that I'm going to lose today. And I don't care how upset or how much I think I can get it back goes in my direction. I don't care about any of those things. I want to always put myself in a position to be able to trade again. So for the things that I feel that have really helped is not that I've never wanted to give up. Heck, I wanted yesterday with the way that the markets are. You know what I mean? So like you're always fighting against those things, but it's instead going through those things emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physically. Can you fall back on systems that you have created that have helped to be able to sustain you over time? And so for me, I've been able to build a system for my trading that has helped me to be able to grow a little bit over long, as opposed to I'm trying to make all the money that I need to make to buy a new house in a month. I've hardly ever seen that. It does happen. Those people never tell you the losses that they had the next month.
Yeah, and the Marcus, making having a bad day, how you overcoming having a bad day? Meaning, let's say that day one you're making consistency. I heard a story that sometimes you're making money day one, you're making money day two, you're making money day three, and everything seems to be working. And then you go day four, and somehow the market changed, the news changed, something changed, and now you're trying to do the same thing that day one, two, and three, but day four everything changed, and then because you had that pattern, you continue doing this pattern, everything is gone in one day. Everything that you accumulated for 3 days can disappear. And how with your emotions when this happens, and how you get back on track, having a bad day, and why
Yes.
have days? Why have my own theory, which is not following the rules?
Yeah, which is most of us, honestly, it's not following the rules or thinking that you can out on any given day, or a lot of times it's just, so how do I say this? Before you're at a trade, that's the smartest you're ever going to be. Once you're in a trade now, your emotions take over and do not follow logic, as we know this with most people. And so again, I'll give you the correct answers, and then I'll kind of give you a controversial answer, but it's true. Is one, I'm always going to go and fall back on my systems. Like I cannot stress in a game like this where you're talking about numbers and things can go very wrong very quickly.
Because it's a probability.
Yeah, you have to lean on probability. So in my head, thinking that my next trade is going to make money. I don't know whether or not my next trade is going to make money. I know based on the numbers that I have done for the years that I have been tracking my trades that over 100 trades, I should be at about this amount. And so for me, what is the emotionality of the individual trade that I'm taking the next time? Because I'm not risking to trigger that emotional thing within me that makes me want to now go and do something stupid. And two, if that trade doesn't work out, that's okay. Like there's always gonna be another trade. But something emotional today that has me lose all my money, then I cannot take the next trade. I can't. In trading, I haven't been wrong. I've just been early. And so in that instance, myself to get into this emotional tear because I was early and I ended up taking a loss on this, as opposed to just saying there will always be another trade. So take the next one. So for me, it's always understanding that I'm thinking in systems. What are my next 50 to 100 trades going to look like versus what my next trade is going to look like? The next thing is so fiduciary responsibility, meaning I have a legal responsibility to my clients to be able to make money. That means that I can't do something stupid and lose a bunch of money. So therefore, if I have to have loss limits in place, that if I, lose this amount, then it's time for me to stop trading. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad trader. It just means today is not the day for me to trade, and that's okay. You were speaking about something important, which is that you would make money some days, you would lose money on other days. Well, understand that the market moves in cycles. I don't remember the name of this person that talked about the 3-day market cycle. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning is one cycle, and then Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, and Friday is another cycle. So if you understand where you are in the cycle, you could lose money at this point on a Tuesday, but you may be able to make that back plus some on Wednesday. So again, always be looking to trade again tomorrow. There will always be another trade, but if you lose all your money, you don't have the opportunity. Always thinking about that in the back of my mind and being very diligent about what my loss limits are, losing my money or other people's monies in that way. Now, the third thing that I was saying, and again, this is the one, is hypnosis. So we have our own thoughts and beliefs around what we believe is possible for ourselves, what we believe about money, what we believe about discipline and emotional hijacking. But hypnosis is a tool that you can use to really be able to quickly focus your mind on exactly what it is that you want to do and do it in the exact right way. And typically it's a few $100s to really put yourself in a very centered mindset to get you in the state that you need in order to be successful at what you do. So I, luckily found someone who had experience with working with traders specifically doing hypnosis techniques. And I've been able to do that. And what that did is help me immensely with my discipline. So it went from me being all over the place to me truly being locked in. And now once my loss limit is hit, or once that number is hit that I say, this is the maximum amount of money I'm going to lose on a day, something triggers in me where I just shut off. I go take a walk, I go do something else. Like I don't get back into the zone. I need to get this money back. I'm just done for the day. And that really saved me.
That's amazing, Marcus. And Mike Tyson said everything when he go to a fight, everything has a very good plan until you receive the first punch. Yes, and this is kind of what happened when trading, right? You have your indicators, you have your strategy, you have all your numbers, you have everything, and then you're supposed to follow this to make money, and then you start to do it, and then you make money, and then what happened? Something goes wrong and you lose, and all of a sudden it's your mind black out. All of a sudden you forget all these rules, and you just want to make your money back. And this is what the danger is, right, Marcus? Is to take it as a probability game, and not always you can win. But what is for sure is that if you follow the system that has been created, and you will have a large of being successful. So in that process, when you were training yourself with paper money, and you have these situations, right? And then how you realize that a big part of trading, more than 80%, not even have to do with your indicators, with your system. It has to do with your psychology as a trader, and with your mindset, and how to take calculated, have the discipline to say even that's the other thing as well. Just sometimes you make money, right? And then people, because they're making money, they want to stay. And that's what happens. You make one wrong move, and then you lose the whole thing. So it's also, you said there is a bad day that you lose a certain amount. You said, okay, that's fine. But also when you're winning, when you're making money, that also, okay, that's fine. That's enough for today. I make a good return. I make a return that I'm expecting, and even more. I'm fine. I'm supposed to be here, I don't know, 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever. But I did it in half an hour. You know what? I'm closing the computer. I go home for a walk. Uh, that's okay. So how you manage all these internal conversation and go to your brain? Because
Yeah.
especially in commodities, right? They're very volatile. Market can change at any time, and really one.
Yeah. So what I would say, like I am better than others, or I don't deal with these same things all the time. My team does. We all deal with these issues when it comes to trade. I'm speaking from a place of experience in that I've done this probably more times than the average trader has them, and I failed even more than that. And I've helped or coached others. I'm speaking from a place of empathy and experience, not from a like wagging my finger, you shouldn't do this. It's hard. Like, again, we deal with these sorts of things every day. So I'll give you a story, get me to the point of understanding how all of this worked and that it was mental more than anything else. First couple of years when I delved into futures trading, I was whatever, like I joined a mentorship group or like a trading group in which the trade had given us charts with indicators, had given us signals to watch his screen as he was taking trades. So like as best as you could, you your thing. And he was a successful trader, meaning that he was $1 million trader doing it every single day in his trading room. So he wasn't really hiding anything. At hand holding, I was finding that there were people in that group that were making $100,000 a month. Some people were losing money. And I'm like, well, how is that possible? Looking at the same thing for us to have so many different results. And that's when that it's not about what you see, but it's about your reactions in your own psychology. Disciplined enough to listen to the trade leader when he says do this? Do you have the same risk profile retail traders don't talk about? Do you even have the same risk appetite as the guy you're following? I want to lose as much money as he does, or you feel like, oh, I can lose a little bit more, usually, right? So the next time he's going to be, so there's so many different factors that go into whether, and it all comes with what's here in between your ears, and then here is deserving of yourself. So when I saw that, I went, it's important for us to understand that it's not necessarily about the systems or anything. Oh, it's not necessarily about like the indicator. Have these indicators, and I know you've seen this as a trader. You follow or look at somebody on YouTube or on trend lines, and they draw to fit whatever thesis they want it to say. So like we can match what we believe in our own mind, which is hardly ever the truth. And so understand what your own truth is, what your own risk appetite is, and how you can do this. So when I started my own coaching company for other traders, before I did that, I had a private, I interviewed maybe $100 million traders. And the thing that I learned from interviews is they never follow another trade leader. So they're not in somebody else. And then two, the number one thing, their emotional management and their risk management in trades. And so when I saw those three, don't follow anybody else, learn to trust yourself, understand risk management, and understand that I decided to prioritize in my own business in order to be successful. And I work on them every day.
Thank you so much, Marcus. Marcus, if someone is in love with our conversation and they want to know more about you guys, what you do, how they can find you, how this process works?
Sure, absolutely. So you can go to our website, tradechology.com, for trading. So TRADE, ecology.com. That will point you in the right direction. We have a number of great resources that you can take a look at, including our academy, one of these things that I am talking about here.
Thank you so much. What are the last message that you have for people? Because there is trading is a great vehicle, and when you develop this skill, is amazing because you can do it from anywhere. You can become your own boss. You can have a really if you develop when you develop the skill. Because the other thing about developing a skill, everybody can be a good trader. Because like everybody drives a car. Some people will take longer, some people will take shorter. But the more you practice, the better you become. I think that when you describe it's not for everybody, it's because people they want they want the quick result. They want to have a result without practicing, without having a mentor, without having the skill. I think mentorship in this particular area is key in order to for people to succeed to have kind of a mentor, kind of coach, someone that has done and has results and can guide you so you can see it as a role model. Because at the end of the day, if somebody consistent is winning, you can say, well, if he can do it, I can do it. Maybe it's gonna take me like you described, a year and a half, a year, whatever, but eventually I'll get there. So what message do you have for the traders out there that they are stuck, they are frustrated, they think hasn't been working for them, but they love trading like you do, and they just ending up because they think that there is no hope at the end of the line, and this is just again what I know for a fact. It's not. There are people out there that have an amazing skill like you. They didn't come out of the sky. You have to be practicing, learning, and training for years. But at the end of the day, if you manage your psychology, you will be able to have great results, right?
That is part of the sure is having good psychology, which will exponent the probability that you will be better. There's two things that I would want to say. The first one is, and I think you hit it directly on the head, which is understanding that trading for yourself or you're deciding that you want to trade for others, that it's important for you to honestly, and if you were going to work every day and you had a boss, think about if you were someone mistakes that you were making, would you keep you as, or would you fire yourself? Because then I think that will help you to change your behavior to understand that this is a business. That way will inherently have more discipline with. And so for me, because I come from the business space, I didn't treat this as, but I instead treated it as, what does it take for me to really be successful at this? And those habits on a consistent basis to treat this like any other business, where if I was I think when most traders take a hard look at themselves, they realize they would have fired themselves a long time ago. Having that perspective on it will help you a lot. The other thing that is outside of psychology is to also have a little grace with yourself. This is a really hard profession where not only are there some of the smartest people in the world are proactively working to make sure that retail traders don't, but there are also algorithms and machines that are doing the same thing. So dealing with a game that has incomplete information, meaning that in a lot of instances, no, because I can see the other side of it now as a professional investor, you're really trading with one, have enough information to be able to make the best decision always. And it's always been structured that way. Saying that sometimes it's not always your fault that you're not as you thought. And there are systems that are in place on the other side that make it a little bit more. So just, again, have a little grace with yourself. And it's the last little story I'll tell just to kind of bring this in the work that I do. Or actually, it was a few months ago or a few weeks back when we were electing a new pope at the Vatican. And I was doing some research on the pope and all these other things, like what kind of goes in there. And in that, I just, in my finance mind, had that in like 2011 to 2015, there was this huge scandal at the Vatican where a couple of rogue priests were trading in the Forex market, and they traded so that they almost bankrupted the Catholic Church with their Forex trades. And so when I saw that, I went, if God doesn't have the right answer, it's probably okay if you don't too. Like, just give yourself a little bit of grace and just do the best you can.
That's fantastic, Marcus. Thank you so much for the interview. And for all of you following the broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Marcus break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Take care.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.